Tears of the Kingdom is somehow one of the best sequels ever and one of the worst at the same time. The complete duality of this game's balancing act between living up to hype and staying ahead of the game is absolutely confusing and controversial as all hell. This game had some of the biggest shoes to fill in the history of gaming, maybe only topped by GTA 6. Breath of the Wild was one of the most beloved games ever. One of the most impactful games ever. It changed open world games forever. It is the face of open world games. When you think of the driving force behind all games becoming open world, it is Breath of the Wild. You think Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom had to live up to that. On top of living up to the incredible legacy of the entire Legend of Zelda franchise as a whole on top of that. This game highlights one of the gaming community's most dividing topics, and that is what is a good sequel, what makes a good sequel, and what a sequel should do and be. I feel like everyone has a different opinion on what a sequel needs to do. Some people believe that a sequel just needs to be the same thing and just kind of build upon it. Some people think a sequel needs to reinvent the wheel, and this game honestly tries to do both at the same time. Taking assets and taking the entire map from Breath of the Wild and then just building upon it was a very, very interesting design choice. One that I think instantly divided a lot of people because it automatically makes this game feel like you've already played it. It makes it feel like you've already been here. That a lot of these places aren't new. That these are just an adventure that you've already been on. Which makes it so confusing because it does have that familiar feel. It does have that feeling that you've already done it. But you have so many new tools at your disposal that it still feels fresh. The whole time I'm playing this game, I'm constantly thinking I've played it already, and I'm constantly figuring things out and doing things I've never done before at the same time. Yeah, I've explored Terrytown, and yeah, I've explored this version of Hyrule before, but I haven't done it in a rocket ship. I haven't done it on a mock bike. I haven't done it with a dev exit in Ascend. And all of those points make me believe that Tears of the Kingdom is the most interesting sequel because it is nothing can compare to it. Nothing can ever compare to it because I don't think any sequel has ever done this. No sequel has just built the exact game again and then just add so many new mechanics on top of it. Like, they changed the whole game and changed nothing simultaneously, and it is an experience like no other. I don't think there's ever been a sequel like Tears of the Kingdom. I would say most sequels fall under the category of just taking what the first game did well and then just adding upon it, right? They would take a game like God of War 1, right? God of War 1 was cool. And then God of War 2 just was more God of War. They continue the story. Obviously, in a sequel, you got to continue the narrative. And then they just like made the combat a little bit better, gave Kratos a little bit more, weapons, a little bit more things. That's basically how most sequels go. And I think that's perfectly fine. But could you imagine if God of War 2 was in the exact same locations as God of War 1? Like the exact same, and fighting the same enemies? And talking to the same NPCs and doing everything exactly the same? It would be so odd. But somehow Tears of the Kingdom did that and pulled it off. I think Tears of the Kingdom pulled it off so well. I don't think it's possible for me to go back and play Breath of the Wild again. Like, it is so hard to go back and play Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild feels like it's missing so much. Like, Breath of the Wild feels like a tech demo compared to Tears of the Kingdom, in my opinion. Like, Tears of the Kingdom improved so many things on Breath of the Wild. It is insane. The combat is so much better. Fuse adds so many layers and so much depth to the combat. It's fucking insane. So much creativity spawns just from the Fuse ability alone. Fuse also changed how you progress in the game because now you're killing things to get materials, and then you can use those materials on your weapons, therefore getting stronger, therefore killing things actually basically upgrades you. It's like their form of XP, basically. Killing things, instead of giving you XP, they give you materials, and those materials used to upgrade your gear. Kind of like the same thing. which was like one of my biggest problems with Breath of the Wild. I felt like combat didn't really matter. I felt like you didn't really have to fight anything. You can ignore most enemies because there was little to no reward at all in any of the combat in Breath of the Wild. That was like my biggest flaw in the game. Fuse instantly made it better and fixed all the problems. Just one ability alone for me. Obviously, the traversal is way better in Tears of the Kingdom. It could be as good as you fucking want it to be. You can build planes, rocket ships, you have like rocket shields, bikes, anything that your mind could think of. There are so many different ways of traversal, it's not even funny. On top of that, you get Ascend to go through caves and anything else you could possibly think of. It is so much better. The traversal is like night and fucking day. Walking in Breath of the Wild, going through Breath of the Wild is just so fucking slow compared to this game. I can't ever go back. Obviously, Ultra Hand is just magnesis on fucking crack. Okay, they took magnetism and then just like, oh, well, now you can just mix match anything that you can possibly think of regardless of magnetism at all. Like, it's just so much better. They just took magnetism and then just like made it so much better. Like, it's absolutely insane to look at the rune abilities on the Sheikah Slate compared to Tears of the Kingdom. Like, it just really does feel like a tech demo. Like, it really does. Like, it's night and day. Like, they took the abilities from Breath of the Wild and then just gave them fucking steroids, bro. Now, I will say, I do miss bombs being like an ability. I thought that was really cool. Instead, you have to like find them, and now you can like attach them to your weapons, attach them to your arrows. Makes it a little bit more tedious. I did think having like multiple kinds of bombs, like the square bomb and the circular bomb, was really cool in Breath of the Wild. That's about the only thing that I think I miss about Breath of the Wild. Like, I did like the bombs. That was pretty cool. Especially after they put Link in Smash with the bombs. Pretty cool. On top of Link just being way more strapped with abilities and weapons and stuff, obviously the world got improved tenfold as well. Obviously they reused the same map, right? So you're gonna first get into it and it's gonna feel like it's very familiar and you're gonna feel like you've been there before. But then once you start exploring a little bit more, it will start to fade away. The sky adds a lot. I will say the sky isn't nearly as much as I thought it would be, judging by the trailers. When this game was first announced, I thought the sky was going to be a much bigger part of the game. And honestly, there's some stuff up there. There's some shrines. Yeah, they put the wind temple up there, the water temple up there. But there really wasn't enough for me to really feel like the sky was like a super big standout. Like, I was a little bit disappointed with what they did with the sky, but nonetheless, there are some cool stuff up there. It's not a complete flop, but I will say I was a little disappointed. And then you have the depths, which the depths is fucking crazy. It's scary, it's dark, it's gloomy, and I will say I did expect a little bit more out of the depths as well. You do have the Spirit Temple down there, which is pretty cool. At least they have something down there, and you have the Fire Temple down there as well. But the depths, basically just down there, are just a way for you to mine Zonite materials, Zonite devices, and shit like that. The depths are like your farming ground for like late game, end game, badass materials and ways to upgrade your Zonite. Again, not completely useless, but it's something. I will say they did attack one criticism of Breath of the Wild head on, and that was the temples. They heard everyone's complaint about the Divine Beast, and they went out of their way to make the temples actually temples, and they tried their best to make them like old school Zelda temples. The problem with the temples is that it has this game's mechanics. What I mean by that is that you can't really make them linear. You can't really make them like the old school ones because you have all these new abilities and Link can just break the game. For example, the Fire Temple honestly could be pretty cool. There's mine carts and you're supposed to ride them and change their direction and, you know, do all this crazy shit. But you can just build a bike and just fly around the whole temple, and it's basically doesn't even matter anything else what you do in the temple because you just have a fucking bike that it just ignores everything. So when you try to fit the old school in the new school, it's like fitting a square peg in a round hole. At the end of the day, I think Tears of the Kingdom is one of the strangest sequels we'll ever see because of how it was set up and what it was expected to do. It is near impossible to live up to the expectations that this game had. It was so ambitious and had to stick true to what it was already supposed to be, and that was such a hard balancing act. I actually really like this game, and I think it was a huge improvement on Breath of the Wild. Fucking Yo, what's up everybody, it's Breathe here. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys like it, subscribe to the channel, and please follow me on Twitch at Reset Plays Everything if you guys want to see me live. Thank you guys again so much for supporting the channel and watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, man. Peace.
That's a hot take, this the one chip challenge. A days during Ramadan, but that's all you could chew. What's the point of a big mouth and run and all it could do? When the sun rises, unadvised, I say all you can move. When the sun down, unbound, I make all you my food. My rise through a Lola was lies through your molars. Just look in the moon, I left my mark like I'm Stephen, like this night from the tomb.